Manifestation isn't about waiting. It isn't about how long you sit with your desires or how hard you wish for things to change. Time isn't the determining factor. In fact, the idea that things take time to manifest is a story created to explain why things don't always show up as quickly as we expect. The real reason is misalignment. When things feel slow, it's not because the universe needs time to process your request. It's because your internal state isn't aligned with the reality you're trying to create. The universe doesn't operate on a timeline, but on a frequency. When your thoughts, emotions, and energy are out of sync, things don't manifest as quickly. It's not about deserving something or being patient. It's about being in harmony with your desired reality. Think of it like tuning a radio. When the frequency is out of sync, you hear static, but when it aligns, you hear the clear signal. In the same way, when your internal world is fragmented, time stretches, but when everything comes together, time collapses. This explains why sometimes things happen quickly and easily, while other times it feels like they take forever. It's not about the importance of the goal or your worthiness. It's all about how aligned you are with the outcome. When you are aligned, manifestation feels effortless. When you're not, everything seems delayed. And here's the key: time isn't the problem, alignment is. When you are out of alignment, it's like you're broadcasting mixed signals. One part of you is thinking about the goal, another part is anticipating when it will happen, and another is wondering if it's even possible. These contradictions cause delays. The universe can't respond to confusion. It needs clarity. It needs you to be fully aligned with what you want, right now. Once you are in alignment, time no longer feels like a barrier. It doesn't feel like you're waiting for something to happen. Instead, things flow into place effortlessly. You don't have to force it. You don't have to wait for it. You simply live it. This is why manifestation can feel instant for some people and delayed for others. It's not about when you're going to get what you want. It's about when you're going to fully embody the person who already has it. The way to achieve this alignment is simple, though not always easy. It's about letting go of the need to constantly plan, wait, or anticipate. It's about trusting that everything you need is already within you and that it will show up in the perfect timing. This doesn't mean you stop wanting or stop working toward your goals. It just means you stop putting so much pressure on the future. You stop making your happiness contingent on what hasn't happened yet. When you do that, you stop splitting yourself between what is and what could be. And that's when everything starts to flow. The problem with trying too hard or constantly anticipating is that it fragments your energy. Your body and mind are still in preparation mode, but the universe responds to your present state, not your future state. When you constantly focus on what you're going to get later, you're essentially telling the universe that you're not ready for it now. This is why manifestation often feels inconsistent. You may feel calm and hopeful, but internally, you're still preparing for something. When you stop waiting for the future and start living as if the future is already here, that's when alignment becomes your reality. True manifestation isn't about forcing something to happen. It's about understanding that the universe isn't a machine processing your requests. It's a mirror reflecting your internal state. The more aligned you are, the more effortlessly things show up. The more misaligned you are, the more delayed your desires will feel. It's not about waiting for things to happen. It's about aligning yourself with the reality you want to experience right now. Alignment doesn't require effort. It requires relaxation. It requires trust. When you trust that everything is already unfolding as it should, the need for time disappears. There's no urgency. There's no waiting. You're simply living in the flow of life. And when you're in that state, you don't need to ask for things. They show up naturally. The universe responds to your energy, not your requests. The moment you stop waiting, stop chasing, stop hoping, that's when everything starts to align. Manifestation isn't about moving towards something. It's about becoming the person who already has it. When you are fully aligned, you are in the perfect state to receive everything you desire. And in that state, nothing is delayed. Everything happens at the exact right moment. Manifestation isn't about time. It's about alignment. Once you align yourself with your desires, there's nothing left to wait for. The universe will meet you where you are, and it will meet you quickly. Not because you deserve it, not because you've been patient, but because you've become the person who already has it. You've aligned yourself with the reality you want to create, and once you do that, time no longer has any control over you. Time becomes irrelevant. So, the next time you feel like things aren't happening fast enough, remember this: it's not about time. It's about alignment. When your energy, thoughts, and emotions are aligned, reality has no reason to wait. It's time to stop waiting for the future. Start living it now. Because when you align with your desires, the universe has no choice but to respond. It's that simple. We explored how time isn't the problem when it comes to manifestation, but rather alignment. The misalignment of your thoughts, emotions, and energy is what causes delays in manifestation. Now, let's dive deeper into why alignment is so crucial and how to achieve it without forcing or trying too hard. The first thing to understand is that alignment is a state of being, not a task to check off your to-do list. It's not something you have to work for constantly, but something you need to embody. The real challenge isn't about achieving your desires. It's about shedding the internal resistance and dissonance that keeps you stuck. Once you do that, manifestation becomes effortless. Most people misunderstand manifestation because they believe it's about getting something from the universe. But the truth is, the universe doesn't give you what you want based on how hard you try. It gives you what matches your state. The energy you put out into the world is what the universe reflects back to you. If your energy is scattered or fragmented, so will your manifestation experience be. But if you are settled, grounded, and aligned with your desires, reality doesn't have to wait to deliver. Think of alignment like a tuning fork. When you're out of alignment, your energy is discordant, and the universe reflects that back to you with delays and resistance. But when your energy is aligned, everything falls into place naturally. Manifestation doesn't feel like an effort anymore. It feels like participation. It's not about striving or forcing things to happen. It's about being in a state of readiness where things simply unfold. One of the key factors in achieving alignment is to let go of the constant need for validation. Many people approach manifestation with the expectation that the universe will send them signs or confirmations before they can believe that things are moving in the right direction. But this is a form of misalignment. When you seek constant reassurance, you signal that you don't trust the process. This lack of trust creates hesitation, and hesitation stretches time. Instead, you need to stop looking for external confirmation and trust that things are working out behind the scenes. When you believe in the process without needing it to prove itself to you, you align with the reality that supports your desires. This trust removes resistance, which is why alignment feels so effortless once you're fully settled in it. Another major aspect of alignment is letting go of urgency. Urgency is often a signal that you are not fully present in the moment. When you're in a rush, you're projecting into the future, telling yourself that something will only be okay once you reach a specific point. This creates a feeling of not yet, and the universe mirrors this back to you. Urgency is a form of misalignment that keeps you stuck in the cycle of waiting. To manifest quickly and effortlessly, you need to release the need to hurry. Allow yourself to be fully present with what is, without the pressure of what is coming. When you can relax into the now, without the weight of what needs to happen next, everything begins to unfold. You stop chasing your desires, and instead, you start living from the place where those desires already exist. This is where true alignment lies. It's also important to recognize that alignment isn't a one-time event. It's a practice. And like any practice, it requires consistency. The more you practice alignment, the easier it becomes to live from that state. Over time, alignment becomes your default mode. It's no longer something you have to remind yourself to do. It becomes who you are, and that's when manifestation starts to feel normal. When you reach this level of alignment, time no longer has any hold on you. You're no longer waiting for things to fall into place, because you're already living in the version of reality where they have. The sense of time passing slowly disappears because you no longer need things to happen at a certain time to feel okay. This is why aligned manifestation feels effortless. It's not because nothing ever goes wrong, but because nothing pulls you out of your center long enough to create delay. This is where manifestation stops feeling like a process and starts feeling like an organic part of your life. You stop measuring time because it no longer matters. You stop wondering when things will happen because they're already happening in your internal reality. And once you stop waiting, you'll see that the universe is already responding to your energy. It has no reason to delay you because you've removed the resistance. The most powerful shifts happen when you release the need to control the outcome. When you surrender the need for timing and allow yourself to trust that everything is already in motion, you align with the flow of the universe. This is when manifestation becomes effortless. It's not about trying harder, it's about trusting more deeply. When you trust that everything is unfolding perfectly, without the need to rush or control, that's when manifestation starts to work for you, not the other way around. But here's where most people trip up. After experiencing a brief moment of alignment, they often slip back into old habits. They start worrying again. They begin doubting. They allow urgency to creep in, and this pulls them out of alignment. This doesn't mean you've failed or that alignment is fragile. It just means that you've temporarily lost touch with the state of flow. The key is not to judge yourself when this happens, but to simply return to alignment. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes to find your way back. Alignment isn't something you need to guard. It's not something you need to hold on to tightly. It's something you can trust to come and go naturally. When you try to preserve it or protect it too much, you introduce effort again, and effort brings tension, which brings misalignment. The real key is familiarity. The more familiar you become with alignment, the more stable it becomes. And when it becomes stable, time no longer has any control over you. In the next part, we'll explore how you can make alignment your new baseline. We'll discuss how to integrate alignment into your daily life, and why, once you make alignment a constant, everything else will start to fall into place effortlessly. But for now, remember this: alignment doesn't require effort. It requires familiarity. The more familiar you are with it, the more natural it becomes. And once alignment becomes natural, time becomes irrelevant. Now we'll talk about how to make alignment your baseline and how this can transform your experience of manifestation. Once alignment becomes your default state, manifestation stops feeling like a process and starts feeling like participation. When alignment becomes your baseline, you are no longer in a state of waiting or chasing. You're no longer concerned about how long things will take or whether they will come at all. You've settled into the truth that everything you desire is already on its way because you've stopped resisting the present moment. This is where manifestation becomes ordinary. You don't have to constantly remind yourself to align, because it's simply how you live. And when you stop working for alignment, you experience the magic of effortless manifestation. The reason why alignment becomes effortless when it is your baseline is that you stop splitting your energy between now and later. When you're out of alignment, your focus is always on the future. When will it happen? How will it happen? And what do I need to do to make it happen? This constant mental and emotional energy drains you and keeps you out of the present moment. But when alignment becomes natural, you stop projecting into the future and start living in the now. Living in the now doesn't mean you stop thinking about your goals or desires. It means you stop attaching your happiness and peace to the outcome. You stop needing things to happen a certain way or at a certain time to feel fulfilled. And once you're in that state, everything you desire starts flowing toward you. Not because you forced it, but because your energy is a perfect match for what you want. When you embody the version of yourself who already has it, the universe doesn't need to wait to bring it to you. It's a natural response. The key to making alignment your baseline is consistency. You have to practice it in your everyday life. It's not enough to align during meditation or when you're focused on your goals. You have to integrate alignment into all areas of your life. This means staying grounded in the present moment, even when life throws challenges your way. It means not letting external circumstances dictate your internal state. When alignment is part of your daily routine, it becomes less of an effort and more of a natural way of being. And when alignment is your baseline, time no longer plays a role in your manifestation. You don't worry about how long things will take, because you know that everything is unfolding perfectly. Time only exists when you're out of alignment, when you're waiting for something to happen in the future. But once you stop waiting, time loses its power over you. You live in the moment, and the moment is all you need to manifest everything you desire. As you begin to live from alignment, you'll notice something incredible. Manifestation becomes your natural state. You no longer need to try or make an effort. You don't have to chase your dreams. They come to you effortlessly because your internal state is a perfect match for your desires. This is the point where manifestation feels like participation. You're no longer controlling or pushing things to happen. You're simply living in alignment, and the universe responds to you accordingly. At this stage, you'll also realize that you don't need to explain yourself or seek validation from others. Alignment is not something you need to justify. It's not something you need to announce to the world. People who are truly aligned don't talk about what they're manifesting because they don't need to. They just live it. And because they live it, reality responds instantly, without delay. The reason why alignment feels so private is because it's deeply personal. It's about your internal state, not about what others think or say. When you're aligned, there's no need for external confirmation. You no longer need the world to reflect your desires back to you, because you already know they're coming. This inner knowing creates a sense of peace and stability that doesn't need to be defended or explained. As you continue to live in alignment, you'll stop focusing on the results. You won't be watching the clock, waiting for things to happen. Instead, you'll be focused on the present moment, knowing that your desires are already on their way. This is the essence of manifestation without effort. It's not about making things happen faster. It's about becoming the person who no longer needs to chase or wait. You are already there. This is the point where manifestation becomes effortless, natural, and inevitable. You stop needing to try, to push, or to make things happen. You stop asking how long it will take. You stop wondering when it will arrive. When alignment becomes your baseline, you've reached a state where manifestation happens as a natural response to who you are being. You no longer need to force things because you're no longer divided between now and later. You're living in the present, and in that present moment, everything is already unfolding. Now, let's touch on something crucial. When alignment becomes your baseline, you also stop fearing the future. You stop worrying about what might or might not happen because you trust that you are already in the perfect place to receive everything you desire. This trust removes the need for validation and eliminates any fear or doubt. The moment you let go of fear and trust that the universe is working with you, the process becomes seamless. When alignment is your baseline, manifestation doesn't feel like a grand event. It doesn't feel like a miracle. It feels like life responding to you in the most natural way possible. There's no struggle, no resistance, and no waiting. Everything flows effortlessly into your life because your energy is in perfect alignment with the reality you desire. At this point, manifestation becomes a part of who you are. It's no longer a process you think about. It's something you live. And when you live in alignment, the universe meets you where you are. It doesn't test you. It doesn't delay you. It doesn't make you prove your worth. It simply responds to the energy you are putting out. In closing, remember this: manifestation doesn't take time. Time only appears when you're out of alignment. When you're in alignment, time disappears. You stop waiting for things to happen because you already know they're on their way. And once alignment becomes your baseline, manifestation isn't a process. It's a way of life. You are no longer waiting for something to happen. You're already living as if it's happening. And that's when the universe meets you with everything you desire. Not because you've waited long enough, not because you've earned it, but because your energy is perfectly aligned with what you want. This is how manifestation works. This is how you live it. And this is why, once alignment becomes your reality, the universe has no reason to make you wait any longer. It simply responds to you instantly.